Pisces. We will now be exploring when, how, and if the two of you will come back together, what we can learn about this connection that appears to be somewhat distanced. So I will lay out 5 more cards and we'll see what comes up. Pisces. Okay, the cards would indicate that there is a very likely possibility that the two of you will reconnect. You've got the Lovers card. Now, the Lovers card is a card of relationships, of unions, coming together. And you do have the time frames of Aquarius, Cancer, and Gemini. So it could very well be that during the time of Aquarius, Cancer, Gemini seasons, the two of you reconnect. I feel like there's still going to be communication. I don't feel like I do feel like whilst you may be somewhat distanced from each other, you're still communicating some way, whether it's through social media, whether it's through a text here and there, updating each other on WhatsApp, or watching each other's Instagram stories, or reading each other's tweets. There's something here to do with communication that's still going to keep you in touch. Pisces, I do feel like they may reach out. It could be you. It could even be the both of you, but I feel like communication is still going to exist between the both of you. But what I see from the cards here is that it's highly likely that I think it's going to be them that reaches out. Lover's card is all about communication. Look, the Star card is reversed though. And this makes me think that the relationship could be a little bit behind closed doors, because the Star brings things into the light. This is public knowledge. This is sharing things on social media. So it might be that this person chooses not to tell people you're talking again, not to share pictures of the two of you online, for example. There might be maybe you decide this. You are the water. I know you're not the Star card, but you do represent water, Pisces. And if the Star card, which is an Aquarius, is represented by the water bearer, then maybe this is actually you who will choose to keep things under wrap and keep things almost hidden with the Moon card. But the Four of Pentacles is also reversed. I think what I'm seeing here is it's more like an online or a social media relationship rather than the physical first. So you may be in talks for a while, not actually see each other in the early stages. This card represents, the early stages. But it can also represent things like the past, and the past is reversed here. So there's something about your past or theirs that's coming back into the picture here. But I feel like in the early stages, I don't feel like you'll be seeing much of each other. It's going to be strictly like online or phone calls or texts before it's actually, you see each other in the physical. For a lot of you, the Lovers card carries a highly sexual message here. So you could reconnect for the physical. Like you may sleep together, you may go on a date and then just be very intimate. It could be a purely physical connection. But I don't think it's just going to be limited to that, because the Moon would indicate there's emotional depth. So the Moon represents the sign of Cancer, and Cancer is quite an attached sign. Emotionally speaking, they're quite dependent. They're quite sensitive. So whether or not you're actually dealing with a Cancer or someone who has Cancer traits, the Moon card could very well indicate that this person has an emotional bond or attachment to you. And that could be sort of stronger when you come back together. So if it's not strong now, remember I mentioned the Queen of Cups was reversed. It could definitely grow, because the Moon represents things like emotional security. It also represents the mother, so like a motherly energy. It could be that when you do reconnect, one of you mothers the other. Maybe it's the both of you. You'll fuss about each other and you'll want to be tender and be guiding and things like that. So But I also feel like the moon is protection in a way. They're very primitive animals, represent things that are carnal, things that are primitive. And seeing that, I feel like someone's here to protect their emotions. Because vulnerability is reversed. The children are normally vulnerable. They expose themselves to certain situations. They get hurt because they lack experience. They lack knowledge. And I feel like this coming up reversed, Pisces, could in fact indicate that you're not ready to be vulnerable, or this person isn't ready to be vulnerable. I think deep down with the Lovers card, they represent twins. So straight away, I think there's the both of you want to reconnect. But I feel like the both of you also don't want to be vulnerable with each other. So it's like you want something, yet you don't want it. I think communication is a big thing for you, and I think if you do reconnect with this person, Pisces, communication will be better. You'll be able to air out more things between each other. Like I said, you may not necessarily share things with other people. The Star card is also healing, so whilst this distancing is happening, Pisces, there's lack of healing happening, meaning when you do sort of reconnect, I think you can get the connection back to what it was, I do, but I think with the Star card, someone hasn't fully come to and someone hasn't fully healed, hence the need to protect themselves. There could be stubbornness. There could be stubbornness here, or even bitterness. I think it's more like emotionally pulling away. So I think if they do resurface or you reach out to them, you'll sort of be in your own shells with the Star card because you haven't had enough time to heal or process things maybe. I don't know if this is to do anything with a different relationship. It could be. This can be read as two distinct, different relationships. And I feel with the healing, one of you is maybe not over a previous relationship because the past is reversed. So this is normally like looking back at the past, at past relationships, partners with fonder memories, or looking at the good things we experienced about it. But I think if it's reversed, it's not necessarily being nostalgic and looking back on the past in fondness, rather contempt or adversity. So you may still hold that against them, Pisces. And again, I think that punishment, the notion of punishment, which I mentioned with the Hangman, if it's this person doing it, doing the distancing, I think you will, in a way, try to punish them or show them. I think it's like vindication in a way, because I think it's your way of showing them that they've hurt you or they've left you in a very vulnerable state, Pisces. And you know, I think you can be vindictive if you really want to be. If someone pushes the right buttons, Pisces, I think they can bring out that sort of response within you. And seeing this makes me think that that's the case here. So with the Star card, you have to give yourself time to heal, or you need to give yourself time to forgive this person. It depends on what they did, obviously, but there's need for forgiveness. Or if you've done something to them, then they need time to live out the punishment, the consequence, the reaction before they can heal properly, before you can sort of pick up where you left off, if that makes any sense at all. So that's what I'm leaning towards, Pisces. But look out for those periods. I think you're still going to maintain some sort of communication. I think the universe will put you back into alignment. I think it may come like an online or like phone relationship before it becomes a physical thing. But I think with the Lovers card, it definitely can indicate this is a soulmate twin flame or a relationship that's destined for you, that's supposed to be in your path. Okay, the notion of the twin, the two figures, the twin towers. This is a major concept coming up around you and this person. So I believe there's something significant, something sacred about this connection. But obviously time will tell. So thank you again so much for tuning in. I do hope it has been helpful.